I'm glad you're here, Snick. Because I haven't actually learned any of the morph ball strats. Tim. For the out of bounds. But I was thinking about maybe like trying some of them. Like trying to come up with something. If people wanted to do that. So, okay, the first thing I'm going to mention is that you do need to come down into this climb room. If you don't, then the transition blocks and out of bounds won't be correct and you won't be able to move on. So make sure that you do come down into this climb room at the beginning of the run. And then go back up into the next room. From here, the Doorskip setup works like this. So you want to open the door, and then you want to jump and hold jump. If you look in the top left, you'll see that I'm still holding my jump input, which for my control scheme is B. And then at that point, what you want to do is you want to pause, and then 5 frames later, you want to push right, which does that buffered spin jump. Okay. It does need to be 5 frames later. It's a frame perfect input. There are a couple of cues that you can use to tell if you got it correctly. The one that Snick included me into was Samus's position on the last frame of the pause screen, which I can actually use frame advance to show. I was using that for a while, but I found the movement after the pause transition more difficult that way. So I started turning left and using a combination. Yo, Giggles, thanks for the sub, man. Using a combination of the way that the spin jump sounds and also just a general Samus is usually in one of like 2 different positions when I do it that way, if it worked out. The other thing, and I don't know if this is going to work for everybody, but I can kind of also tell both in terms of feel and sound and the way that the controller inputs sound, like the physical controller, the way that the buttons are pressed. So it's something that you'll get a feel for if you do it a lot. There are a lot of different tricks to it. There's actually one that you can use in an emulator if you have RAM watts that I'll go over in a couple minutes. That can help you get a better understanding with confirmation, I guess. But okay, so we're gonna do a frame advance here. Okay. Start. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we hold right on the next frame. 5. Okay. And you'll see that Samus does this. Okay. Now let's see if this is correct. So on the last pause frame, this is the pose that Samus should be in. Now she's in this pose for 2 frames. It needs to be the later frame. Okay, so since she's still visible, that's the correct one. The next frame, the screen should go completely black. It does. Okay. And then here's the next part. So you have to do a frame perfect hitbox extend through the door. The way that I do this is I hold L and I hold down, and then as I'm going through the door on the correct frame, I will release down, and that causes Samus to automatically extend up since L is still being held. Technically, she's extending down. That's why the door skip works. Snick explained the details about that to me a couple days ago. But yeah, so I'll show it in frame advance, and then we'll go from there. Sorry, I don't have this scripted out or anything because I'm lazy. So, first of all, if I fall from here, if I can do it, Okay, Samus is just gonna fall. She's gonna fall and fall and fall. And that's not what we want to happen. So since I didn't actually turn left before the pause transition was over, we have to do that after. That can get kind of awkward and weird, which is why I started doing it before the pause transition. But okay, so the frame that she needs to extend on is right here, I believe. On the next frame. Nope, that was early. Ha! I'm good at this game. Okay. So it must be, yeah, the next frame. This one. Okay. So she is still visible when you need to do it. If you do it any later than that, then what will happen is she'll be barely visible. Like that. See how her head's poking out? So if that happens, you know you're one frame late, and then if she's a little bit more visible than that, then you know that you were a frame early. That's kind of how you can gauge your hitbox timing through the door. Hey, Dr. McStreamy. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. Anyway, so you'll land on this invisible platform right here. It looks like Samus is standing a little bit above, you know, that platform, but she's actually just on an invisible block platform. So I'm actually going to switch over now to an LSNES scene, and we'll go over the out of bounds stuff. Okay, so this is what out of bounds looks like. I'm actually going to hide some layers real fast so you can see a little bit better. Okay, so see those 0904 blocks up above us? That is the door transition. Okay. Oh, actually, sorry, I almost forgot this. So I mentioned that if you're working on an emulator, you can tell whether Samus is in the right position for Doorskip. So we'll go over that real fast. If you look in the bottom right there, I have Samus's X and Y PX positions. The correct position is 1171. Okay. So that was 1168. It only updates when you, in LSNES at least, it only updates when you pause the emulation or frame advance, for example. So like, notice that it's not changing this way. But if I pause, then they keep changing. Okay. So, like I said, the correct position is 1171. So that was one frame late. I think that was one frame late on the jump press. And that was the correct frame right there. Anyway, that's just another way that you can try and get the feel for it. The problem with doing it on emulator is, you know, input lag and stuff. So it's gonna kind of throw you off. But if you can get like an internal feeling for the inputs, then you know that might help. It helped me at least. I spent some time doing this and figuring that out. So okay, so now we're gonna go back to this. So what we need to do is we need to jump over this block. Okay, we don't want to jump too high or we'll hit the door transition up there. Any of these other blocks that have like 0900, 09FD, blah, 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 those are transition blocks. So if you hit the wrong one, you're going to end up having to reset because you end up somewhere where Samus either can't move or you can't progress the correct way in that scenario. So again, like if I hit this one, the game transitions Samus into, I think this is Terminator, and she's just stuck in the wall right there, right? So you got to be careful not to hit the wrong transition blocks. So we want to jump over on here, and then this particular jump is one of the more annoying jumps. I was wondering how people were going to react to this. I'm glad that people seem to be enjoying it. So this block up here, not the purple pink one, but the 09000, that's another transition block. We can't get over it because it's too close to this this ceiling, which is the bottom of the screen that you would normally see. So you have to do like a mini spin jump and then a wall jump on that next block. And I have to deal with input lag here, so forgive me. Dude. Okay. So what I do after I get that wall jump in is I immediately go back over to the right, and then I press up to make Samus stop. You can, yeah, so if you press up during a spin jump, Samus will stop in midair. And the reason that I do that is to make sure that I don't end up too far over to the right on this platform. Because if you do, you need to back up, and that's slow and annoying to do. It's okay. Okay, so when you're standing down here, if you aim upwards and you shoot, you can see Samus's shot on the bottom there, okay? So that's how you can tell where you're positioned. My cue for this particular one is that I want the shot to be about midway between those two blocks. Okay, so you want around the center of your circle, I guess, to be right there in the middle. If you're further left than that, you're probably gonna fall. Yeah. And if you're further right than that, what's going to happen is you're going to have trouble getting over this stupid block right here, which is another bad transition block that you don't want to hit, okay? So make sure that you're far enough back, and then what you need to do is you need to do a running crouch jump. Now, when I say that, I don't mean like a crouch jump. I mean, you jump and then crouch immediately. The reason that you need to crouch is so that you can safely get over this block, because if you don't, you're probably going to hit it, which apparently I didn't hit it right there, and that's stupid. But, man, maybe I shouldn't have been doing a crouch jump. Okay, no, that's why I was doing crouch jump. Anyway, crouching is the smallest hitbox. An aim down is the smallest hitbox, so that's why you want to do it that way. So you want to run, jump, crouch, aim down, and that will put you over on this block over here. Now this is what I lovingly refer to as the stupid jump. So you can see there's a bad transition block right here next to us. Okay, this 09000. Oh, I need to turn the layers off again. Sorry. I want to make this as easy to see as possible for people. Right? Okay, so yeah. This transition block is really annoying. As you can see, the top of Samus's hitbox is actually tall enough that if you walk too far to the right, you're going to activate it, okay? And that's just rip. We can wall jump off of those blue blocks. I have a mouse cursor. We can wall jump off of these blue blocks right here. The problem is getting a jump that gets us far enough over there. So that was Snick's setup, was to wall jump off of these blocks. I tried that for a while, and then I decided that I really didn't like that. So what I opted to do instead was wall jump off of this side of this block right here. That involves doing a very short spin jump, okay? And then moving back over to the left. And yeah, doing the wall jump. Now, you can either just tap jump, okay, as you're moving to the right. Or we have this beloved thing that was discovered last year called a moonfall. The nice thing about moonfalls is that they never the spin jump that occurs from a moonfall never goes high enough to hit this block if you do it correctly. See, so you can just hold jump this whole time, and Samus will conveniently end up underneath the block. Isn't that nice? I haven't actually frame counted whether or not the normal non-moonfall spin jump has a wider window for the wall jump than the moonfall. It would make sense because I think the moonfall gains just enough speed to be too low a little bit faster, but it might be the same window. I honestly don't know. So yeah, so we want to do a moonfall off of this platform right here. And we need to make sure that when we do it, we end up far enough to the right that we don't hit that transition. So now we're past the stupid jump once we're on this block. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention. From this position, you can still see Samus's shots on the bottom right corner of the screen if you crouch, angle up, and shoot. Okay. So see how you can see where that shot is hitting the wall there. If it's too far to the right, you won't be able to see it, and you won't be able to hear it connect. That doesn't mean that you're too far to the right to make the jump. It just means that you need to compensate for how far to the right and then to the left you're going to need to move after the moonfall. So this is how you gauge your positioning from here. Anyway, sorry that I almost forgot to go over that. So now we're past the stupid jump, right? Surprisingly, the rest of this platforming is pretty straightforward. The only reason it's hard at all is because it's more or less completely blind. You can use audio cues to kind of tell what's going on, but it's mostly going to be up to feel. So what I do for this part is I just run off of this platform, okay? That will put you on the next platform, and you can hear Samus land when she lands on it. And then, once again, you're going to want to do an aim down jump over this block. I'm pretty certain that a spin jump won't work, which means when I try to do it, it will probably work. Oh yeah, look at that. A spin jump will work right there. Oh, that's terrible. But again, the problem with the spin jump is that the hitbox is bigger, and so there's more of a chance that you're going to end up hating yourself for trying to do it. The problem with an aim down jump here is, might help to hold down our angle after running off. Oh, so you don't end up running too far? Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, so if you want to hold an angle button when you run off and end up on this platform, that will prevent Samus from skidding across the block. That's what Snick is saying, and that's a really good suggestion. Okay, if you watched a number of my runs and or the current world record, which is an 11:55, you'll hear me refer to what I call as the shimmy block. This 09FD block right here in front of us is the shimmy block. And the reason that I call it that is because if you don't have enough speed when you do the aim down jump, you end up here where Samus is stuck, right? And you can't get out. Unless you do what is called a... I actually don't even know what it's called. Snick told me about it. I can show what it looks like here, and then I can also show what the sprite looks like when it happens. And I'll do that in a couple minutes. But yeah, Owl, it's the angle cancel. So if you're holding L or R, I assume, and you're facing left, this is very important. You have to be facing left, regardless of the situation, because otherwise it won't do anything. And you start Samus in a turnaround, and then you let go of Cepadolf Entertainment Turns. Okay, that's fine. That's a great name for it. Is he the one that came up with it? Anyway, if you let go of your angle, right? I think. I like can't even think about it. If you let go of the angle in the first half of Samus's turn animation, she will quote unquote shimmy like a pixel or two to the right. Okay? So notice that she did move right there, and she didn't end up moving back. Okay? The problem is if you just do that, you can't just do it the quote-unquote normal way, which would involve holding right, because then Samus isn't ever going to move to the right here, and you'll just stay stuck. So what you have to do is, I do this kind of double tap right, because you can't tell where you are, obviously, since it's completely blind. And sorry, I gotta get stuck again. So yeah, I hold L, and then I push right, let go of L, and then push right again. The reason that I push right again is so that if I come off of the edge of the block, I'll end up falling over to the right side, down onto this, keep forgetting I have a mouse, I'm sorry. So fall off the right side down onto this block is what we want to do, right? So again, hold L, push right, let go of L, and then push right again and hold it. Maybe. There we go. Now, I didn't consider this viable for a run at all. Like, I figured out that you could do it in practice, but I was like, oh, there's no way I'd ever be able to do this in a run. It'd be way too hard. Turns out it's not that hard. You just, you do the shimmy, you hold right, and you wait for a second to hear if Samus lands. If she doesn't, then you turn left and you do it again, and if she does, then you know that you made it down here. Samus is still out of view right here, and there's no way to tell exactly where she is. But thankfully, in the next jump, she will come back on screen, which I can show. The other important thing to note is that if you touch one of these blocks for too long, even though it's not transitioning us, when we activate a transition after this, Samus will get locked in place, and I'll show that. But if you pause and then unpause, that will prevent her from getting locked in place. So thank you to Snick for educating me about that. Turn our layers back on. Okay, so notice that we're still out of view. When we jump across this gap right here and we land over here, Samus will come back into view over on the left side of the screen. Ta-da! Yay, now we're back in view. Okay? And then after this, you need to do another short jump across this gap right here. If you jump too high, you're going to activate one of these transitions. The transition that we're after is this 0901 block. And if we hadn't gone down into the climb room earlier, like I mentioned, this 0901 block would be an 0900 block. So that's why this is important. Okay, so I have a visual cue right here to tell whether Samus is in a good position to be jumping through this block or not. You can come up with your own if you want. What I use... Man, it's so nice having a mouse right here. So there's this little cross in the background right here. This little teeny, like a plus symbol type thing. I mean, hopefully you guys can kind of see that. If Samus's toe is overlapping this at all, I know that I'm in a good spot, okay? So, going through this transition, what we want to do is we want to hold shoot and hold left. After 3 shots, we want to let go of left. Oh, right, we're stuck. Okay, so we're stuck because we didn't pause after the shimmy block, which is a bad transition block, or whatever. I don't know what to call it. Snick probably knows. He knows everything. But yeah, so to fix that, we need to pause and then unpause. And now when we go through, we won't get stuck. So jump, hold left and shoot, and then after 3 shots, let go of left. 1, 2, 3. And if you time it correctly, which I did not, you'll land on these blocks, okay? You need to make sure that you do it late enough that you don't touch this 0903, because if you do, again, that's a bad transition. But you also need to let go of left early enough that you don't fall down and rip the run, okay? From here, you have a couple of options. What I usually do is a spin jump, and on the 3rd spin, I push up to stop Samus, and that positions her right here. Another thing that you can do, and I started incorporating into my runs recently, is you can do a spin jump and then turn right on the 3rd spin and continue holding jump, and then you can just push left again, and Samus will end up jumping across into the right position on this block down here. The problem with that, and I'll try and illustrate this. If you're too far to the right somehow, yeah, you can get stuck on that block and end up falling. This actually happened in the current world record. You'll fall into this block, okay? As long as you don't fall all the way down, you can still jump up. I think you have to do a pause here, or else the Samus will get locked again, and you can keep going. But yeah, so you can decide. Well, don't do that. That's for sure. You can decide if you want to do that or if you want to do the up. You can fall down onto this right here, and then I think that's completely safe. Yeah, you can do a buffered spin jump from there, or you can do a normal like walking spin jump. But yeah, if you want to go fast, you can do it from this top one. Just gotta be careful, and you gotta be prepared if you end up landing in the wrong spot. Okay. No, I didn't close my eyes, but I did have a very I'm very familiar with what these blocks look like, and you come up with a lot of different cues, like audio cues, visual cues, feeling it out, all sorts of stuff. And then from here, what you want to do is you want to hold right and hold jump, and that puts us in the power bomber. Okay. Okay, so now that we're here, I'm going to move back to console because that's a lot more comfortable than this, and we don't need the out of bounds boxes for right now. This room is more or less self-explanatory if you've seen me do it in runs. The only thing that I would note is my visual cue for when to run and jump under this guy is as the acid is moving down across the floor, across the ground right there. So you just want to do a short aim down jump right here, and you want to land right around the middle between these two platforms. And you want to do a quick ledge grab onto this next one. Do another... you're holding dash this whole time, by the way. Do another one of these, and then do a deboost off the flame. The deboost, the only tricky thing about this deboost is that you need to make sure that Samus is high enough when she takes damage from the flame, or else she'll end up falling like that. Also make sure that you're holding jump and no other directions or anything, so that she boosts upwards first and then push back to complete the boost. Like that. Okay. And then from here, you can just rush this part. Okay. Unless this guy ends up staying on this platform, then you have to waste a bunch of time and like kill him first, and it's really annoying. So that happens if you take too long getting over to the point where you boost off the flame, I think. I don't remember exactly, but okay, anyway. And then what I do here is I jump and I hold jump, and then as soon as a flame connects with me, I boost off of it. And then you just go through. See, that was like super inconvenient. I'm not sure what causes that guy to still be on the platform like that, but when he does, it's bad news. So, okay. From here, I mean, I guess I can explain this. My visual cue for this spin jump, if you look, there's the fat dark line and there's the thinner dark line. I just stopped my jump up on that thinner one. That'll make sure that you clear the ship. And then from here to Morph Ball is, you know, vanilla. It's just like any other run. So we'll just do that real fast. Use whatever strats you would normally use, obviously. Okay, so we want Power Bomb selected. We want to collect Morph Ball. And then after the item fanfare finishes, you want to do a Morph little Mock Ball thing off this platform. You want to lay the Power Bomb to the left of this guy, otherwise it's not going to break all of the blocks on the wall. And then Snick pointed out, I wasn't doing this initially because I thought that the extra lag was good for in-game time, but it turns out it's basically the same. You want to stay morphed and roll into this bottom corner. That will prevent the eye from continuing to shine on you and causing a ton of lag right there. So stay morphed until the power bomb goes off, and then you can jump up. Just do that, and then you need to use another power bomb far enough left that it breaks both of these blocks. That's important because we want to conserve as many power bombs as we can right now. And now we are into Green Hills. For this room, I do a shot on this plant, and then just a spin jump, ledge grab through the door. You can do a mock ball through this, and it's pretty swag, but it's also pretty specific. Oh, man. Okay, there we go. If you get the mock ball, Samus will launch all the way across this gap and collect the missile, which is great. If you miss it, you want to unmorph and then do an aim down as you run across the gap. It's a little slower, but it's still good. Okay. Select missiles here. Do a couple of wall jumps up. I shoot my first missile while walking as I'm passing these two little plants, I guess. And that will hit that dude. And you need to come up this way. There's a way... Okay, I haven't found a consistent way to manipulate this flyer guy so that he won't show up over here. I was looking into it, and then I decided that I didn't want to because you want his drop anyway. Optimizing drops here is really important. You need to make sure that you have full missiles and that you also have good amounts of health. Again, you can clear these rooms more or less however you want to. The important thing is, again, wow, that RNG was complete crap. You want to make sure that Samus has as close to full health as possible and full missiles. The fastest way that I've found through this room is like this. Come on. If you need to farm this dude, you can do that. And then continue on. Vanilla early supers. However you do this room is how you want to do it. And then this next room. So a lot of people have asked me why we come in here. The reason is that apparently the event flag to wake up Zebus, this right here, Zebus Awake, is triggered by opening a blinking gray door. That normally happens on your way back up from Morph Ball when you go through the pit room with the pirates. You kill all the pirates, and the doors turn from gray to blinking gray, and then you open it. If you don't do this, what happens is you get back to Parlor, and then there are no Geemers to do the Geemer Boost off of to get stuck in the door to X-ray climb out of bounds. There is an alternative, I guess. I haven't actually looked into it. Snick could tell you more about it. If you don't want to come in here, you could also go and do another door skip, just like we did in Parlor the first time, and you can use that to get around and get where you need to go. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it personally, but what do I know? So, so we need to kill all the enemies in here in order to open the doors. One of the enemies is over to the left, right here, which is why we need to place a power bomb. And you can do a mock ball, a Kego mock ball through this guy, if you don't suck like I am, apparently. I had a visual cue for it. I just don't remember what it was anymore. Anyway, there we go. You just want to make sure it's far enough left that that guy gets blown up. So I count these lines. I think it's like the fourth one. If it's at least this far, you should be good. And then you want the power bomb to kill all of them as well. Which is why you run back over to the right to manipulate this hopper. Ta-da! All right, moving on. Okay, so this next room you have a couple options. You can do the Kego Boost. The issue with doing the Kego Boost is Samus takes more damage, and so you're kind of relying on good RNG to have good health when you get down to X-ray. So that was good RNG, obviously. Your other option, you can either run through the door and do this, or you can farm all these guys, which is slow, but sometimes necessary. My visual cue for this power bomb Oh, crap. Okay. Is right at the bottom of this hill is where you can place it, and it will get far enough that it will break all of these. If you place it any further left, it might not, so be careful about that. Notice we only have one power bomb left. So if you screw that up, you have to go back into the room on the left with the fire fleas and get another power bomb, which you don't want to do, because that's slow. And then to manipulate the flyer guy over on the right, what I do is after laying the power bomb, I roll about this far, and then I roll back to the left, and that will make it so that he is in an optimal position to collect his drop when the power bomb kills him. Do this room like you normally would, however that is. And then this room is mostly vanilla. The only thing is you want to avoid taking damage from these hoppers because they do a lot of damage. You do want to collect supers, definitely. And then depending on what you have here, you usually want to try and collect from these bugs. If you have a power bomb and good health, you can just go all the way down. Skip the farm. Saves probably 1 or 2 seconds. Okay. If you can keep missiles here, it's a good idea for the optimal strat in this next room. Okay. This room looks a lot harder than it is, but it is very specific. So keep that in mind. You want to jump at the end of the platform, right here. And then after bonking the ceiling, you want to break spin by pushing an angle down and shooting twice immediately. If you time it correctly, what will happen is you'll hit both fire fleas and you'll hit the waver with a shot as well. Okay, so see how the waver blinks there? We did hit it there. If you miss the waver for whatever reason, see if I can even do it. Okay. Then you'll need to shoot it once right here. Okay. So I didn't miss it that time, so we didn't want to do that. But the reason that we want to shoot it so that it's taking damage one time is so that after getting this boost over here, we only have to shoot it one more time to collect its drop rate. Okay. The way that you time this boost is just by starting to run left as it's coming down right here next to those grapple blocks, and then just jumping at the edge of the platform and doing the boost. Okay. Then you want to boost back onto the spikes from the fire flea and immediately run left and do another boost. Okay? Hey Daniel, what's up, man? Yeah, I just wanted to get back. Snick and a couple others have said a few times that if I, got the record with this route, it wouldn't be taken for a long time. And I mean, I can kind of see why, because it's annoying, but at the same time, like, if somebody is interested in doing it, somebody wants to push the limits of the category, like, please do. And if I can help provide something for them to do that more easily, then I want to. So anyway, so we want to select a super so that we can kill this yapping maw down here. The reason we do that is because it will sometimes, I wouldn't say like even often, oops, drop a big health, but it will drop a big health sometimes. I don't remember if I shot the waiver that or not. I did not. See? So that's why that's important to pay attention to whether the waiver gets hit there. So yeah, we want to kill this yapping maw and collect its drop. The important thing about this whole room, I should specify this, you want to take damage from the enemies. Because the spikes do 60 damage, the enemies only do 20. Okay, so that's how we optimize our health so that we can even make it across. Okay. By the way, 81 health is really good here. 71 is the least possible value to do the YOLO strat, but I wouldn't go for it every time with 71. I can explain that in a little bit, but yeah, 81 health is really good. So another thing that you can do, I mentioned that you want to keep missiles for this if possible, is... Okay, we're gonna save state. Ah, crap. They screw us over. No! Okay. Okay, so kill the yapping maw, switch to a missile. Don't screw it up like that, like I do. I screw that strat up all the time, so. Anyway, you can also kill it with P-shots, it's just harder. And then what you want to do, this is the more important part. As this back waver, not that one, this back waver is coming down right here, that's where you want to boost off of it. However you want to use a Q for that, that is when you want to boost off of it. The reason being that that puts you in an optimal position in terms of your iframes to be able to spend some time on the spikes and wait for the waiver to then be in the optimal position to boost off of across the gap right here to the door. Okay? I wait like half a second and then I get a running start. You do a spin jump, and you boost across. Okay. This room's a little tricky. It's not actually that bad. There are a couple ways you can get up into this hole. Ideally, you have an extra power bomb. Ta-da! You're good, right? If you don't have an extra power bomb, you have two choices. The easier one is to do a running, aim down, ceiling morph. You want to make sure that you're as far back here as possible. So you run, you jump, you aim down, and then you morph into the ceiling, get in that one. I don't know how tight the window is. It's pretty dang tight. Okay. That won't actually save any time because you still have to wait for that gate to come down. I thought it would save time initially, but it doesn't. If you miss it, you just use a power bomb and you're good. The other option, which you might want to do just for swag, but it's really hard. You can do a wall jump off this and then do a wall jump morph where you hold jump and then morph, right? Like that. And if you time it right, you can actually get back into the hole. But it's really freaking hard. So, anyway. If you do this, you want to make sure that you're morphing as close to the ceiling as possible. Come on, Samus. Gosh. Because when you morph into the ceiling, Samus carries momentum up into the ceiling. Snick calls it grinding into the ceiling, which, yeah, I mean, it kind of is. So, okay, this next room. I use visual cues with the way that the background fades in and out. You're welcome to use whatever cues you can come up with. That's what I do. So you run through the door. You want to start counting how many times they fade in and out right here. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4. You got it? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you want to land down here on this platform. The visual cue for that is this third set of, I don't know, vines, whatever they are, in the back. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So for the fast strat, 2, 3, 4. On 7, we want to shoot the yapping maw. 7. Turn, jump, buffer jump. Do a spin jump onto the spikes. Deboost off the waver. Die to the spikes. Lose your run. Cry for a while. Start over. So yeah, again, the fast strat is on 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Turn, 8. Jump, buffer jump, boost, crouch jump, boost. Miss the boost. Okay. 9. Land on this platform, and then this waver comes. You can just boost off of it, keep going. Okay. So that's the fast strat. You can also boost off of this fire flea if you want to. You just need to keep in mind how many power bombs you have. Because coming out of this room, optimally you have 3. The reason for that is because you have to use 1 on this block right here. Okay. And then there's 1 at the top of the elevator going back up to the ship. And then there's 1 that you need to use for the blocks to the right of the ship when you're coming back to the ship. So yeah, you need 3 coming out of this room. If you don't have enough, it's better to just kill that fire flea rather than boosting off of it, because it will almost always drop a power bomb for you. And yes, if you have 2, like Owl just mentioned, you can farm the B-Tom out there. But that, again, it just takes extra time. So I actually haven't timed the difference between boosting the fire flea or collecting the B-Tom, so something tells me that collecting the B-Tom might be a little bit faster. The main thing is just to keep a mental note of what your ammo is like here. So, okay, so the slow strat, you don't actually have to count the background here until the waver comes on screen and then goes off screen. Oh, and I should clarify. So the reason we shoot the yapping maw right here on 7 for the fast strat is because it will often drop a big health. So the yapping maw will often drop a big health, which can put you in a much more comfortable position to do the fast strat. So when the waver comes on screen, after it goes off screen, you want to count the background, the fading in and out. 1 and 2 and you jump, and then you do another one. The cue for your second jump after this, 1 and 2 and, is as the yapping maw is passing back over Samus, assuming that you get in the correct position. That's when you want to jump. Okay. If you land too low on the spikes, then it might not do that, and then you're just kind of on your own with timing it. Definitely still possible, it's just you need to make sure that you're timing it correctly. And then, yeah, you can just wait for that waver to come back and then get back over safely. Now I need to mention the extreme YOLO strat in case you ever end up in a position where you don't have enough HP to boost off of that waiver. 1 and 2 and... No. Okay, actually this is perfect. Okay, so we have 9 health, which would not be enough to boost off the waiver because they do 10 damage, right? You can make it from this block across the spikes. It's really hard, but it is possible. What you need to do is you need to run pretty much as far as you can on the block, and then morph and do a jump wall like that. It is not as easy as it probably looks when I do that. Most of the time I die like this. But if you can do it correctly, you can get across. And be on your merry way. Okay. So we've covered all that. From here, we want to get back up to the ship. So use whatever your normal PRKD Red Tower strat is. Yo, Kano, thanks for the host, man. Watch your health here. Make sure you have enough to damage boost through Hellway. If you get into critical, you'll want to farm health from these guys. Oops, I'm in critical now. Reason being, well, okay. You don't have to. You don't want a siren to be going off when you are out of bounds after the X-ray, the out of bounds X-ray climb. What did you die to? What did you die to on near PB pace, Kano? I'm sorry. No, you're fine. If you have the siren going off, you're not going to be able to hear the audio cues for your out of bounds section. So you got to be careful about that. I am so sorry, dude. If anybody knows how that feels, it's me, though. If you don't have a super here, you need a super. So... Oh crap, I don't have a super. So you need to collect one, okay. Reason being, you need a super to do the Geemer Boost from Parlor to get Doorstuck. This is a freaking long tutorial, I'm sorry, you guys. Like I said, I'll probably, like, split it up. Okay. Watch out for the Key Hunter up here. If you have a missile, shoot it with a missile and go. If you don't have a missile, you can do a jump over it. It's just kind of specific. Dude. Bummer. Here's the power bomb I was talking about. So at this point, you probably have 0 power bombs. How much do these guys do? Okay. These do 5 damage. So if you only have 33 health, you don't want to do the Geemer Boost through the door and get stuck, because then you're going to be in crisis mode, okay? So be aware of that. Okay, so like in this situation, I wouldn't want to do that. So I'd need to kill that guy and then reset the room. Come on, man. Oh my gosh. Dude, stop it. Evan. Okay, so the setup for this, you want to walk all the way to the left here so that Samus is up against this this wall, I guess. This Geemer doesn't move when it's off screen, just so you know. So you can take all the time in the world you want right here. Do a buffer spin jump, okay? Hold jump the whole time, press right, you land here. Turn left, select supers. Okay? So that's the first important part. Like that. Okay. Now, this Geemer Boost, it took me a while to come up with my own setup for it that worked semi-consistently. So, you know, maybe you'll have your own. But what I look for, let me grab this. See the top spine there? Technically on the Geemer's right side. It's the one on the top. When that's passing over this this line in the background right here is when I start running. Okay, so I'll show that a few times. Okay, and then you want to shoot the super as Samus's foot is kind of passing over this corner right here, or this piece of grass. That's when I time the super, at least. And then as long as you take damage and you did that setup correctly, Samus should end up stuck in this door right here. So I think that was, yeah, that was late on the running left. Okay, X-ray climb. Obviously, I am the most qualified person in the entire world to tell you guys about the X-ray climb, since in both of my world records so far, I had a flawless X-ray climb that had absolutely no delays or problems to it at all. So I just want to make that clear right now that I am your best resource to learn the X-ray climb. There is definitely not any other good tutorials out there for the X-ray climb. This is your end-all, be-all resource for it. So just be aware of that. In all seriousness, the way that the X-ray climb works is Samus needs to be in the turning animation up to 5 frames before the end of the screen dim. I did test this out in LSNES, so I confirmed that. The point is, the screen takes a bit to undim at the end of an X-ray. Okay? As long as Samus is turning in those 5 frames, you should be good. I believe. I believe that was the deal. The way that I time it, personally, is between 10 and 15 frames from the start of a tapped X-ray, it will work. Okay, so that's kind of like a spike suit rhythm, like a tap tap. Okay, tap tap. So tap tap. See that? Tap tap. Tap tap. Tap tap. Tap tap. I messed that one up, but you know, not because I'm bad at this. I just messed it up because I wanted to show you guys what it looks like when it doesn't work. So, okay. So the way that this works, the idea behind X-ray climbing is, if Samus turns in that window, it's a 5-frame window when you're not suitless underwater. She's forced to stand up. Okay, and then when you push down to crouch, she moves up. Isn't that great? Now the problem here with this door is if you hold right during an X-ray climb from facing left turning right, Samus will run out of the door. Hey, good night, Kano. So you gotta be specific with your timing here. You gotta just tap right so that Samus doesn't run out of the door. There's also a safe strat. I'm really bad at it, but if you watch like Snick's PB in this category, for example, you can get fast at it. I believe 2Cat does it as well, where what you do is you only do the X-ray climb stand facing from the right side turning left. Okay, so you do this and then you use X-ray again and then you turn left. Come on, man. There we go. Like this. Okay. And like I said, it is possible to get fast at it. I'm bad at it. Morphing is the worst thing that can happen right here because you have to completely start over. And if you morph inside of the ceiling, it's a soft lock. So you just have to reset, okay? So you need to do 30 successful X-ray climbs. If you want to, you can turn off Morph Ball, and then you don't have a problem worrying about getting stuck. Okay. And then once you're high enough, if you jump, you'll see Samus on screen. So now we're out of bounds. I am going to switch back to LSNES now so that you guys can see what out of bounds looks like. Ha! Okay. We're good. So we're going to X-ray climb out of bounds now. And we're totally not going to screw it up at all because I'm pro. See how pro I am? Has nothing to do with this controller, I promise. We're just gonna save here. Oh no, I just turned X-ray off again. I'm so good at this, huh? Alright. We can turn Morph off. Let's just turn Morph off. Probably our best bet. Okay, so 30 proper X-ray climbs will put you right here. Okay. Where Samus is at the top of the the room, I guess you could say. We're at the top of this, okay? After 30, you can jump out. All right. If you tried it on 29, Samus wouldn't jump out. So just keep that in mind. If you're worried about it, you can do 31 or 32 or 45 or 107 or whatever. Once you're out here, you can use a combination of visual cues and audio cues to tell kind of where you are. The first thing you want to do is you want to run left after getting out. It's for like 1 to 2 seconds, I guess. Like I'm just kind of used to it at this point, but you want to run left and then tap right. Okay. You can just fall all the way down here, but it's really slow. If you run left and tap right and then wait and then tap right 2 more times, Samus will land on these blocks right here. And then you can do a moonfall. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. After 7 times passing through the screen, she'll end up down here. And from here, what you need to do is... Whoa, the emulation like slowed way down there. That's weird. Huh. Anyway, you want to jump up to the left, okay? I'm going to do like 3 or 4 big spin jumps, then you'll see Samus come on the screen over on the right side. When she comes on the right side, you know that you need to start holding right again. And what I do is I do a big spin jump and then a moonfall. Okay? When you hear Samus land after that moonfall, what you need to do is you need to morph, which I currently have turned off. Morph and roll through here. You'll see Samus fall down as a ball, like that. From there, this is another copy of where we were when we first got out of bounds. Okay, so it's the same thing again. So we want to roll off to the left, tap right, push up, tap right a couple more times. We land on this set of blocks again. Do a moonfall. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In my more recent runs, I would do moonfall and then morph and then unmorph on the 7th and hold left. You don't have to do that. It is obviously a little faster if you can time it correctly. So we have these big spin jumps again. She comes off on the right. We go over here. We can do another moonfall down this way. Morph, roll to the right. Okay, this is where audio cues become important. Positioning is also important here. I'll see if I can demonstrate that. So the safest thing that you can do here is roll all the way to the right. You'll see the screen scroll, and then Samus will hit this wall right here. From there, you hold left, and you'll hear what sounds like Samus landing twice. Okay, the first time is when she comes off of this corner right here. What happens is, for whatever reason, this is the 0-0 position where physics are weird and don't work correctly. Okay. When you roll over it, it sounds like Samus lands. So you want to listen for that, and then you'll hear a second one as Samus bounces off that 0-9. It's the middle block out of these three right here. Okay, 0-9-93. As long as you keep holding left, she'll clear this 0903 block on the left, and then you need to stop holding left after a defined amount of time after the second landing noise to land on these two blocks right here. Okay, like that. So I mentioned that positioning is important here. Sometimes, for whatever reason, from some of these positions, Samus won't actually roll off the corner in the same way. So if you just hold left, you'll end up activating the transition, and then your run is over. Okay, so I played around with the idea of trying to find a normalized setup where you don't roll all the way to the right. I thought I found some, but then I would be practicing and I would end up hitting the bad transition. I think that actually happened to me in a run as well, but I don't think it was PB pace. But yeah, so roll all the way to the right, roll to the left. You'll hear the two landing noises. You stop, and you're here. Okay, now, the nice thing about the door skip route is that we are now in the exact same position that we were when we first got into Ship Room after all of the platforming back then. Okay, so this is more or less exactly like that was. Again, you can do a spin jump and an up tap. You can come down onto this. You can do another spin jump, land here, and then once you get to this position, you want to use X-ray, and then turn right after a couple seconds. Screen flashes like this. You keep holding right. You jump up into this transition, which puts you in the power bombs room. You shoot the invisible door. You run out. You do a small jump over that gap, that right there. You land on the ship. You finish the game, right? You can also do the spin jump, tap right, buffer jump thing. That's what I did in my PB, and I ended up landing down here because I was in a bad position. So just keep that in mind. Like this. Okay. Okay. There is one more thing to note. And I think it happened to me the other day, and I was asking Snick about it, and we couldn't really figure out why. But I believe, okay, in Total's tutorial, I think it's Total's tutorial, he mentions that you want to get down on this lip right here, okay? And then he says what you want to do is you want to do a jump, morph, and hold left. Okay. I think the reason he says that is because sometimes when you hit this block up here, it acts as a transition, and you lose a run. Like the game, I think it's a crash. I couldn't figure out why, and I couldn't reproduce it, but it has happened to me one time before. So if you're worried about that, maybe do what Total said. Do a jump, morph, hold left. And then, yeah. So that's the run. I think I've covered everything that I had to cover regarding the run. Did anybody have any questions about it before I wrap up for the night? Is my new question. It's the final question. This is your chance. This is your chance to ask the world record holder questions. I'm basically the best person that you'll ever witness at this game, and that's why I didn't make any mistakes during my entire tutorial tonight. So yeah. Okay. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. Let's see if anybody's still playing this game in a way that is more fun to watch than some guy just doing a random tutorial.